Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and yesterday on the 18th anniversary of 9/11, the National Press Corps held a conference where we had several New York fire commissioners, including the one behind me from Nassau County, and first responders declare a resolution that they want a new investigation into the attacks of 9/11. Now, you would think that the importance of this would have been national news. National news, right? After all, I've been accused of hurting family members. I've been accused of hurting firefighters, first responders, for daring to ask questions about 9/11. And it's always portrayed as though the family members hate 9/11 truth and that the firefighters hate 9/11 truth. Well, that's not the case. And we're going to just play some of the opening statements from this gentleman behind me. And it got zero coverage in the media. If you just type in National Press Club, sort it by date. Are you ready for this? Okay, let's keep going, because it's not here. No, first page doesn't have nothing. Well, I mean, this was yesterday, so why? I mean, shouldn't this be in the New York Times and the Washington Post? I'm still not. Just two whole pages in the section by date and nothing? Surely Section 3 will have all sorts of coverage about this, huh? What? No? Bueller? I believe it's the fourth page that I have to find this before it even happened on the ever-popular stockhouse.com. Not trying to rag on Stockhouse, but it's off the PR newswire. See, that's what happens. You put out newswires, you go to the National Press Club, and you think the media would have interest in something like this, but they don't. In fact, you know how they like to portray 9/11 Truth as being the enemy of the family members? Well, 9/11 Truth is one of the reasons that the Saudi role in 9/11 is so widely known now, and the U.S. will name the Saudi citizen who 9/11 survivors and victims' families accuse of being a government official who helped the hijackers. I would imagine this person is more than likely deceased, and I would guess it's Bandar Bush. But it's probably even beyond, again, Bandar Bush is gone. Everybody's known about that connection forever. All of this is still a limited hangout, but we have to get further and further along the way because the media refuses to cover things like this. And you can see this entire press conference, by the way. It's just under an hour over at AE 9/11 Truth. Again, they do some amazing work there, but we're just going to play some of this right now.
Good morning again. On behalf of Joseph Torregrossa, Chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners from Franklin Square, I'd like to welcome you. He couldn't make it today. He is ill. He's suffering from the toxins that were breathed in during the rescue and recovery efforts down at Ground Zero 18 years ago today.
And let's stop. Remember, Christy Todd Whitman, the EPA, they all told them the dust was safe to breathe. Oh, it's safe to breathe down there. And that was just a lie on top of a lie, on top of a lie, on top of a lie, on top of a lie. And, I watched that Air Force One special, complete propaganda, although it did tell you a lot of the eyewitness accounts, but at the end of the day, they spun the threats into this wonder world of all miscommunications. And, even the angel is next things. It was just a mistake. It was a little bitty mistake. And I'm currently going through the documentation that I was unaware that was released on that. But there'll be a full video on that. Now, before that, the History Channel was running, I believe it was 102 minutes that changed the world or something along those lines. And, I mean, as the towers were hit, people were already blaming bin Laden. They were calling for blood. They were calling for vengeance. They were saying wipe out the Arabs, etc., etc., etc.
My name is Christopher Joya, and I'm a fire commissioner with the Franklin Square Munson Fire District in the town of Franklin Square, New York, Nassau County, which is near the Queens border. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I have been an active volunteer firefighter with the Franklin Square and Munson Fire Department for 33 years. I am also a former EMT and an ex-chief, having served 5 years in that position. I am currently employed as a construction surveyor with Local 15 Operating Engineers, New York City. And I have worked in the heavy construction industry for the past 30 years, specializing in reinforced concrete, major foundation work, and structural steel.
Huh. He's worked construction. He knows about concrete and structural steel. I wonder why you might have some questions.
Today I am here to announce the launching of our Justice for 9/11 Heroes campaign, which is being spearheaded by the Franklin Square and Munson Fire District. On the morning of September 11, 2001, I was working on the Brooklyn side of the East River, just north of the Williamsburg Bridge, and had a spectacular view of Manhattan and the Twin Towers. Having been an eyewitness to the attacks that day, and from being called to duty to assist the Fire Department of New York in the following days and weeks afterwards, 9/11 has never been far from my thoughts, having been burned forever into my soul. The 9/11 Commission concluded that Osama bin Laden and a group of Islamic extremists were responsible and carried out the attacks, and that was to be the end of it. Truth be told, that is far from the end of it.
Love it. Love it. Very simple, to the point. This is what they sold us on. This is what they continue to sell us on. And yet, almost everything they have said in these official versions have turned out to be disinformation and lies.
The 9/11 Commission was flawed, and in the words of two of its own, the chairman and the vice chairman of the 9/11 Commission, respectively, Thomas Keane and Lee Hamilton, who stated in their book, without precedent, that they were set up to fail and were starved of funds to do a proper investigation. That's their own words.
Well, I mean, when you put more money into a fake Russiagate investigation than your farce of an investigation into 9/11, and even the two heads, the two chairs, Hamilton and Keene, joke about the fact it was an indictment of the CIA and FBI and intelligence. We showed you that clip yesterday from Fabled Enemies during the watch-along. What do you expect?
They also confirmed that they were denied access to the truth and misled by senior officials in the Pentagon and the Federal Aviation Authority, and that this obstruction and deception led them to contemplate slapping officials with criminal charges.
But it never happened.
The final report did not examine key evidence and neglected serious anomalies in the various accounts of what happened. The commissioners themselves admit their report was incomplete and flawed, and that many questions about the terror attacks remain unanswered. Nevertheless, the 9/11 Commission was swiftly closed down on August 21st, 2004. The failings of the official investigation have fueled too many half-baked conspiracy theories. Some of the 9/11 truth groups promote speculative hypotheses, ignore innocent explanations, cite non-expert sources, and jump to conclusions that are not proven by the known facts. They convert mere coincidence and circumstantial evidence into cast-iron proof. This is no way to debunk the obfuscations and evasions of the 9/11 report. But even amidst the hype, some of these 9/11 groups, including architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, pilots for 9/11 Truth, and the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry, to name a few, raise valid and important questions that were never even considered, let alone answered, by the official investigation.
Think about that. You know, we had Richard Gage on the day before the 18th anniversary, And he talked about how the NIST report said they found no evidence for explosives, and then it took years later for them to actually admit in passing, well, we never actually tested for explosives. Yeah, it's going to be weird that you're not going to find the evidence if you don't look for it or test for it.
The bottom line here is that the American public has not been told the complete truth about the events of that fateful autumn morning 18 years ago. What happened on 9/11 is fundamentally important, but equally important is the way the 9/11 cover-up signifies an absence of democratic, transparent, and accountable government. Establishing the truth is, in part, about restoring honesty and trust and confidence in the American political system.
Which may never happen. I mean, we couldn't even get this on C-SPAN. And guys, he goes on for quite some time before introducing somebody else. I'm going to leave it there. If you want to see this whole thing, this whole presentation, there you see Mr. McIlvain. You know, I'm kind of like speeding through it. But, you know, they're not done. We're not done. 9/11 truth is far, far, far from done. And hopefully one day we can pierce into the reality of what happened that day and hold those accountable that are still around to justice. I believe that. You know, Robert Kennedy Jr. today named who he believed to be his father's killer. Somebody many people have speculated for years was his actual father's killer. And it wasn't Sirhan Sirhan. That should have been headlines everywhere. And was barely talked about because that's the kind of controlled media, military, industrial complex mindset this country is currently in. Folks, doing 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 videos a day on various subjects. I know I've been light on the Epstein lately. We're going to have a huge Epstein update tomorrow. We're going to do the Angel is Next video. I keep pushing forward. Make sure to check out my documentary films. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture for free on this channel in the documentaries playlist. And if you can, please consider donating $5, $10, $15. No subscribe star, no Patreon, no other way to do this, but without you guys appreciating my work that I put out there for free that truly goes beyond that false left paradigm that we're kind of set up to believe in and set up to fail with. No, we're about right and wrong here and the truth, no matter how dirty and nitty-gritty it gets. So with that being said, guys, I will see you on the flip side.